What if I told you there's a place where people live below sea level, and they're totally fine with it? Where highways have overpass not for cars, but for animals, and where the idea of romance might include splitting the bill on a first date. Welcome to the Netherlands, one of the most fascinating, misunderstood, and quietly extraordinary countries in the world. This tiny European nation, roughly the size of West Virginia, packs in more innovation, charm, and cultural quirks per square mile than most countries 3 times its size. But what most people don't realize is how this lowland land of windmills and tulips could actually teach us a thing or two about modern living. Let's start with a number that will catch your attention. The cost of living in the Netherlands is around 75% of what it costs to live in a major US city. And yet, life there? It's consistently ranked among the happiest and most balanced in the world. Nearly 1/3 of the Netherlands sits below sea level. That's not a typo. But instead of living in fear of floods, the Dutch engineered one of the most advanced water management systems on the planet, the Delta Works. It's often called the 8th wonder of the modern world. Think Hoover Dam, but an entire coastline. Their resilience doesn't stop at hydrology. The Dutch have turned challenge into opportunity across the board. Their economy? Among the most developed in Europe. Their port city of Rotterdam, one of the busiest seaports in the world. And perhaps most impressively, over 90% of the population speaks fluent English, making the Netherlands the most English-proficient non-native country in Europe. Now picture this, a village with no roads, just canals, little wooden bridges, and the soft whir of electric boats gliding through the water. That's Giethoorn, dubbed the Dutch Venice. But honestly, it feels more like something out of a Pixar movie. Here, instead of garages, homes come with boats. Your address? It's based on the nearest bridge. With just 2,600 residents, this peaceful, dreamlike town welcomes over 1 million visitors each year. A TikTok video showcasing a boat ride through Giethoorn's flower-lined canals went viral with over 50 million views in just 1 week. So yeah, it's not exactly a hidden gem anymore, but it still feels like one when you're there. Dutch women are statistically the tallest in the world, averaging about 5 feet 7 inches. But what really stands out isn't their height, it's their mindset. In Dutch dating culture, it's completely normal to split the bill. They even have a name for it, going Dutch. Now that might sound awkward to some, but it's actually a reflection of deeper value, fairness, independence, and mutual respect. Dutch women often pay their own way, fix up their own home, and bike miles daily with the ease of a professional athlete. It's a refreshing contrast to traditional gender norms and a real testament to how equality plays out in everyday life. You've seen them on souvenirs, those bright, clunky wooden clogs. But what most people don't know is that each pair of traditional Dutch clogs is carved from a single block of wood. They're not just cute, they're functional, durable, and historically used by farmers for working in muddy fields. Today, the Netherlands still produces more than 3 million pairs a year. Some are even hand-painted and can cost thousands of dollars. There are clog parades, clog races, even 6-foot-tall clogs you can climb into for a photo. And yes, some couples have proposed using them in place of engagement ring. It's weird, wonderful, and totally Dutch. Once a year, on April 27th, the entire country transforms into a sea of ore. It's called King's Day, basically the Dutch version of the 4th of July, but with more bikes, less BBQ, and a ton of street markets. People dress head to toe in orange, dance in the streets, and sell everything from vintage sneakers to homemade waffle. And that's just one festival. There's also the cheese market in Alkmaar, where guys in traditional costumes haul 40-pound cheese wheels on wooden stretchers, and the Bloemen Corso, the largest flower parade in Europe, featuring 26 miles of floral-covered floats. It's like the Rose Parade, but on steroids and tulips. Quick pause here. If you've made it this far, chances are you're loving these stories as much as we are. So why not hit that subscribe button? We've got more coming your way. Places you didn't know existed. People rewriting the rules and cultures that will flip your perspective upside down. All right, back to the Netherlands. If you could step into a painting, it might feel something like walking through Delft. This charming city is the birthplace of the legendary painter Johannes Vermeer, the mind behind Girl with a Pearl Earring. But Delft isn't just about art history. It lives and breathes beauty in the everyday. Its canals are narrower, its bridges more ornate, and its pace noticeably slower than Amsterdam. Locals sip coffee at outdoor cafes, students bike to class through cobblestone alleys, and flower markets pop up like old friends returning for a visit. Delft is also home to the iconic Delft blue pottery, hand-painted ceramics that have been produced here for over 400 years. You can even visit Royal Delft, one of the oldest workshops, and watch artisans craft them exactly like they did in the 1600s. Now this next part might sound like sci-fi, but it's real. The Netherlands has built over 600 animal-only crossings, bridges, tunnels, and overpasses designed not for people or cars, but for deer, foxes, badgers, and even frogs. Yeah, frogs. One of the largest of these is the Natterbrug-Zanderie Kreelu, a half-mile-long green bridge that stretches across railways and roads to allow animals to migrate safely. These eco-bridges are covered in grass, trees, and even tiny streams. They're soundproof, have no lighting, and are carefully monitored to support biodiversity. The cost? Anywhere from $1.1 million to over $5 million each. But the investment pays off in conservation, reducing wildlife accidents and allowing nature to flourish in one of the world's most densely populated countries. If you thought windmills were just a cliché postcard image, you haven't been to Kinderdijk. This magical village in South Holland is home to 19 towering windmills that have stood watch since the 1700s. Each of them still operational and entirely powered by natural wind. You can actually spend the night in one, listening to the creak of ancient wood and the soft rustle of wind spinning the blade. Some locals still use them as water pumps today. And here's a fun fact. In the past, the position of the windmill blades would actually signal messages to the community, like a 300-year-old version of texting. The name Kinderdijk means children's dike, and it comes from a legend about a baby's cradle floating safely on the floodwaters after a massive storm. It's a deeply touching story that adds another layer of soul to an already enchanting place. In America, coffee is fuel. In the Netherlands, it's a ritual. Every invitation for coffee comes with one small cookie. Always one, no more, no less. It's tradition, and Dutch people drink a lot of coffee. Like, a lot. On average, they down 4 cups a day, putting them among the top coffee consumers in the world. What's interesting is how they drink it. Not in a rush on their way to work, but slowly, on cafe terraces, even when it's cold. Coffee time isn't just a caffeine fix, it's an excuse to connect. Birthdays, business meetings, or just catching up with a neighbor. It all happens over coffee. And yes, they also host huge coffee festivals in cities like Amsterdam and Rotterdam, where the best baristas in the world gather to compete and create art from foam and bean. Amsterdam might just be the chillest capital in Europe. Picture houseboats bobbing along quiet canals, artists sketching bridges, and locals biking in every direction. Young people, seniors, even kids in baskets on the front of bikes. With over 23 million bikes for a population of just under 18 million, cycling isn't just transportation, it's a way of life. And the city itself? It's filled with contrast. Cobblestone streets meet avant-garde architecture. Microscopic houses, some just wide enough for a staircase, sit beside palaces and parks. By day you've got flea markets, tulip-lined canal, and vintage bookstores. By night, the city lights reflect off the water as jazz bars, open-air theaters, and street performers bring every corner to life. It's like New York's East Village met Venice and had a very organized, very happy baby. Now imagine walking into a scene straight out of a dream. Color everywhere, the scent of tulips, roses, and orchids swirling in the air. That's the Bloemenmarkt, the world's only floating flower market. Floating? Yep. Since 1862, these flower stalls have sat on barges anchored along Amsterdam's Single Canal. Today, they sell everything from seeds and bulbs to massive bouquets, and even tiny travel-safe packs for tourists to take Dutch flowers home with them. During the holidays, the whole market transforms into a winter wonderland with Christmas trees, decorations, and festive music. And thanks to its Instagram-worthy aesthetics, it's become a hotspot for influencers, travel bloggers, and anyone who appreciates nature's beauty, packed into a few floating boats. Think the Netherlands is just windmills and Cheese? Think again. Just outside Amsterdam lies Keukenhof, the largest flower garden on Earth. Every spring, over 7 million tulips bloom across nearly 80 acres. It's not just a garden, it's a technicolor explosion that's been compared to Disneyland. But for flowers, love art and nature, head to Hoge Veluwe National Park. It's 21 square miles of sand dunes, pine forests, and wild deer, plus a world-class art museum hidden in the middle of it. The Kröller-Müller Museum, second largest collection of Van Gogh paintings in the world. Imagine seeing Starry Night after biking through a forest. If you're into fairy tale, there's Efteling, an amusement park that opened before Disneyland and is still going strong. Instead of cartoon mascots, you'll find dragon, enchanted forests, and coasters that tell stories rooted in Dutch folklore. There's a word in Dutch that doesn't quite translate into English, Gezelligheid. It describes that warm, cozy, heart-filling feeling you get when you're with close friends, surrounded by laughter, soft lights, and a sense of belonging. It's not about luxury, it's about connection, a candlelit room, a warm blanket, good company, and a relaxed pace of life. In Dutch homes, brown cafes, and even in the middle of city squares, you'll find people creating gezellig spaces everywhere. Unlike the Danish, which leans more towards solitary calm, Gezelligheid is all about shared comfort. A Saturday brunch, a backyard birthday, or just quietly enjoying a moment together. That's what makes life feel full here. You might think living in such a dreamy country would cost a fortune, but here's the reality. A single person's monthly cost of living ranges between $2,200 and $2,700, depending on the city. A studio apartment in Amsterdam runs about $1,400, but in quieter suburbs, you can find cozy places for closer to $1,000. Utilities average $220, with high-speed internet coming in around $50. Public transit is efficient and affordable, just $3 to $4 per ride, or $90 for an unlimited monthly pass. Grocery costs around $300 a month. Eating out, $15 gets you a solid meal. Gym memberships go from $35 to $60 a month. Even dental visits are predictable, about $100 per appointment. Compared to most major US cities, that's a steal. And you get clean streets, efficient infrastructure, safe neighborhoods, and that all-important work-life balance. It's no wonder so many Americans dream about relocating here, even just for a while. Dutch cuisine might not be fancy, but it's full of personality and comfort. Let's start with a stroopwafel. 2 thin waffle layers sandwiched around caramel syrup. The proper way to eat them? Place one on top of your coffee cup. The steam melts the inside into a warm, gooey hug in every bite. If you're feeling adventurous, try raw herring. Yes, raw. Locals grab it by the tail, dip it in onions, and eat it standing up. Not your thing? No problem. Try bitterballen, crispy fried balls filled with beef stew, usually served with mustard and a cold beer. Or poffertjes, tiny fluffy pancakes topped with butter and powdered sugar. Total crowd pleaser. In winter, nothing beats a hot bowl of snert, thick pea soup with smoked sausage. And for dessert, apple tart loaded with cinnamon apples and a cloud of whipped cream. So why does this little country punch so far above its weight? It's not just the bikes, the bridges, or the tulips. It's the way the Dutch have built a society that value fairness, design, efficiency, and connection. It's a place where being different is normal, where nature is protected, where cities are human-sized, and where people value time, not just productivity. The surprising truth is, the Netherlands might be one of the few places on Earth where modern life doesn't mean chaotic life, where advancement hasn't killed charm, and where you can live well, really well, without needing to be rich. Would you live here? Could you see yourself biking along flower-lined canals, working from a cafe by the water, or chatting with locals at a street market? If so, you're not alone. This place is stealing hearts for a reason. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, and hit that subscribe button. We've got more eye-opening stories coming your way, from hidden cultures to places that challenge what you thought you knew about the world. See you in the next one.